Today we're going to continue our discussion about sine and cosine and the values of sine and cosine in various quadrants. We've already talked so far about angles of theta between 0 and 360. Today we're going to talk about angles that are coterminal with values from 0 to 360. So the first example we're going to look at is where P is a point on the unit circle. Unit circle, remember, means that you have a radius of 1. And we want to be able to find sine of 390 and cosine of 390. So we're going to kind of tie in everything we've talked about so far. 390 degrees is coterminal with an angle of 30 degrees. Okay, so we see that those are coterminal. We're going to go through the same process that we've already done, which is that we're going to go ahead and draw down a right triangle. Because remember, this is right triangle trigonometry. If you're trying to find sine, cosine, tangent, or any of the other three trig functions, which we'll get to, you're definitely dealing with a right triangle because you're talking about the ratio of the sides of a right triangle. So we draw down our right triangle here, and then we really just have our 30, 60, 90 triangle. So as long as we know what the ratio of the sides are in a 30, 60, 90, then we can find the value of the sine and the cosine. So in this particular case, we're saying that the radius is 1, so that means the hypotenuse is 1. The side opposite 30, as you recall, is half the hypotenuse, and then the other side is 1/2 radical 3, or radical 3 over 2. So what's the measure of our reference angle? We already found that, 30 degrees. What are the coordinates of the point P? So if this is the point P, this side length is radical 3 over 2. This side length is 1/2. So that means the coordinates of the point P are x, which is the value across, and then we have our y value. So the side opposite 30 is the 1/2. That would be your y value, so we'll put that in the 1/2 position. And then you have your x value, which is radical 3 over 2. Okay, so what's the sine of 390? The sine of 390 is opposite over hypotenuse. So in this case, 1/2. And what's the cosine of 390? Radical 3 over 2. Now we are in quadrant 1, so we know in quadrant 1 that the all trig functions are positive, so of course sine and cosine would be positive in this case. Now again, you can go to the calculator and you can check these if you'd like. So if we go to the calculator, we can still enter the sine. Oops, my calculator had mini freak out. You can do the sine of 390.